Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody, welcome to TFT Tarot for Today. Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee.
Where?
We're a little bit sad today.
Where?
And why?
Where does it hurt?
Because it's the unhappy hour.
Indeed.
And we have to tell you where it hurts. But the good news is we try to tell you how to make it all better.
Turn that frown upside down.
We do this every start of the fourth quarter moon, as long as we remember to do it at the start of every fourth quarter moon. Because, you know, this is a time to look at issues such as this,
Right.
shadowy.
That final shadow.
Yeah. So, and we do this for the elemental signs of the Zodiac, plus a reading for where does it hurt in the world right now.
Indeed.
There's a world of hurt out there. And I see Sunny has said, hey, how come you're filming in here? What about me?
And we changed our look to try to accommodate the style, so we'll see how that goes for us. Maybe we'll do it again, or maybe not.
Yeah, with Mr. O, you never know. He likes to shake things up a lot. So how about we start with our air signs, right?
That's what we usually do.
Yeah.
And air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
This reading is for you. You get to find out where it hurts. Thanks everybody who's been supporting this show, coming to it. Your comments are always welcome.
And of course, it is a pre-recorded show. As you're watching this, though, we are live in the chat room, so we are going over any finer points of the reading we'd like to illuminate.
And as you can see, Bly is front and center here to make us help us get through this.
He makes us hopeless.
We read the cards all in reverse for the reason it is kind of a shadow sort of reading.
It tests our skills, too.
It does.
We're just going to leave that there.
That's not the main purpose behind this show, though, to test our skills.
Well, everything we do is a test of our skills.
A test of our skills and a test of our will.
Patience. Oh, right.
I made a rhyme, and you had to mess me up. A test of our skills and a test of our wills. No?
You willfully said that, didn't you?
I will say it again.
Alrighty, so do we agree that this is our mutual direction? I'm cutting this way. You will respond in accord.
I'll respond the way I always do.
Okay.
All right.
First card. What is or will be making us unhappy right now?
And that would be the air signs. I pulled it. I pulled it from the top. And it's the Lovers. I'll let you place it because you're better at that.
Okay, so it's the Lovers. And of course, like all of our cards, it will be read as reversed. So what is making us unhappy right now is maybe that we have to make this choice and that a part of us really wants something that we think is clear to bring joy. And another part maybe is looking at something else as maybe riskier, but maybe it's more tantalizing in its own way.
Well, air signs, I'm going to keep a little bit of an open mind about this. It could indeed be about choices, taking action that is right or wrong, you know, other factors. But it could also be about something in your love and romance life that's hurting you right now. Maybe we'll get more detail as we go along and we can fine-tune this, air signs. But I'm not ruling out that maybe there's trouble in paradise. There's trouble in a relationship right now. All right. So how are you, air signs, dealing or will be dealing with this unhappiness? Because perhaps you know what this is relating to right now, or it's up and coming. Interesting, it's another major arcana. It's the Star. The Star is reversed. Well, you're not dealing with it super well. Let's just say, you know, maybe, I mean, clearly, when something is going wrong in a relationship or you're having difficulties deciding what's the right action to take, it's making you feel very pessimistic. You're worried. You're worried about where things are going, what the future will bring. And, you might not be thinking clearly enough to either make that choice or tackle a problem in a relationship because of your pessimism and doubts.
Clearly, I'm going to go along the same bent there. And an expression comes to mind. It's a colloquial saying, don't borrow trouble, don't speak about things before they've happened. And so the star reverse could be an example of that. Somebody who's worried and pessimistic about what their chances are with certain ventures they're involved in. And so if it is reflecting on the first one, it could be saying, don't make it worse by, bringing more trouble by trying to decide what it already means when you may not actually know that, or the final act has not actually played.
Well, I like that, Mr. O. That's nice. Why are your feelings, though, these doubts and everything you're going through, the boiling through you, the unhappiness, why are they justified? Well, it's the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is reversed, of course.
I want to see how you spin this one.
I know how I want to spin it.
Alrighty.
I feel here it's because you have to make a move or a choice that you really don't want to make. Is it about breaking up a relationship? Is it about taking a hiatus from a relationship, a separation? Or again, is it about some important choice you have to make, that's troubling you? Is it about leaving a job or something that you really love, but, maybe you're getting nowhere at? There's no room for growth or advancement, or, there are other factors at play.
Yeah, this one...
Did I spin that well?
That was spun pretty well. I don't think there's any other way to explain it. Your feelings are justified because maybe in some sense you don't really want to make this decision, but you have to make it.
Right.
There's not a lot more I can add to that, but just saying that there is a discomforting feel.
It totally ties into that.
Yeah, when you see it as a progression or degression, even if you want to go the other way with it.
All right. Well, so how in the world can we turn this frown upside down, air signs? Well, I'm not sure about this one. Maybe I'll let you spin it.
Well, it is the reversed King of Wands.
I have some ideas,
and
but go on.
The way to turn it around is maybe to not overexert yourself in terms of confidence or putting on false bravery. This card normally would be about a person who's brave and rises to a challenge, but when it's reversed, maybe there's a sense of false bravado here. And this is saying, you can't solve this by trying to power your way through it, pretending you're more in control of it than what you are.
I love that.
You may have to accept the fact that you yourself need some guidance here. You need direction. You are not the King of Wands. You're maybe waiting for the direction from somebody more like that.
And to add to what Mr. O said, don't let your ego guide you in this decision. Yeah. Let your heart guide you, let your feelings guide what you need to do here. And I love the thing about don't try to be, for want of a better word, macho, about this. Don't try to act tough. Do what you've got to do in a nice, benevolent manner. No aggression, no need to get upset or hostile. Just make the moves you need to make in your life. I know you might be upset that you have to make these moves, but you know what? Don't take it out on everybody else, including yourself.
So let's run through it again.
Well, air signs, this is such a tight read. It truly is.
Yeah.
You've got some choices, decisions to make. It could be in regards to relationships. It could be in regards to something you are passionate about,
Absolutely.
like a job, a career path, a project, a goal, something that you have to make a very difficult choice or decision about that's making you unhappy.
Can't say any more. It really makes you
unhappy. That one?
So then this one is how you will be dealing with it. And this may be saying that you are probably over speaking to the situation. You're just borrowing trouble, as I said. You're making more of it without really knowing everything yet, and you're already deciding that the end is near.
Well, and feeling very pessimistic and gloomy,
Yeah.
and you're allowing your common sense and your vision to be clouded by that. There is a future, there is a destiny here. There's a reason why all of this is taking place. Okay.
And your feelings are justified because it's a decision you don't really want to make, but you must make.
Yep, couldn't say it better.
It's cup, so it is tipping itself more to an emotional situation that was indicated with the first card. There's also a cup in the star.
That's true. And ultimately, well, we've got cups and we've got this emotion-filled card here in a way. It's card of passion. So it really does line up to possibly interpersonal stuff or something that really is you're really passionate about and wanting, nothing to change, but change must happen. Yes. And don't get too passionate. Don't get too egotistical. Don't let, your hurt feelings, guide how you make this choice and how you end or, change whatever needs to change here. By all means, you don't need to be forceful or aggressive either.
Right. No sense in trying to be a bully here. It won't work. And as air signs, you really are about seeking clarification, seeking a way of thinking through this. That's your strong suit. So don't forget that you just really need to sit back a little bit and think it through.
Wow. So that's what we have for the air signs. Good luck with that.
Good luck, air signs.
We're moving on to the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Where does it hurt, my friends?
Are you making the pain burn because of your fire sign nature?
Why? Save us. All right, well, I'll be paying attention to this reading.
No one was hurt, but there will still be pain.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, I'm going to shuffle after you, of course, and cut them for you now. Thank you, sir.
I also changed the set thinking that maybe it might be more conducive for Sunny to jump up and give us a little head bump.
But I put this table here, and of course, that put a damper on that.
We'll just have to see how it goes in the future.
If we had a little bit more space here, if we didn't have this bookcase, one less bookcase in this room could make a big difference.
Or we just have to position it out of this alcove, but that would involve major moving and cleaning over there, and I'm not so sure.
Or a smaller type chair there.
Like the one you're sitting in?
Yes. Yeah, basically.
And then what would you sit in?
The folding chair maybe is about that size.
So, fire signs, what is or will be causing
unhappiness in your life right now?
And it's the Empress reversed.
Whoa. Can't get the creative juices flowing, fire signs? Do you feel like you're kind of stuck in a rut right now? Are you feeling unmotivated in your job or in your career or in some other area of your life? There seems to be some stagnation and a lack of growth. And of course, being the fire signs that we are, we would find that kind of troubling.
For the fire signs, a card like the Empress, would have all of those creative and soul-stirring, inviting powers, but it also is a bit about being able to take charge of things. And so this card also indicates that you are unhappy because you're not really in charge of what you need to be. And of course, it could be these very highly creative thoughts and ideas you want to do. It just feels like you are not achieving a sense of control and or direction that you want here.
So how are the fire signs dealing or will be dealing with this unhappiness?
This is interesting because it's the reversed Six of Swords.
Oh my gosh.
And that could signal a retreat of some sorts, an idea.
Could?
A feeling that you can't move forward because there's still something else you need to take care of, and it may be something that's not so desirable to deal with.
That may be true. I feel that, with the Six of Swords reversed, it's magnifying the stagnation here. It's like your attitude is creating an even worse problem. It's like you can't move forward if you feel stuck and you insist on remaining stuck. And also, you might be wanting to go back to a past or a time or situation, and maybe that's it. Whatever's going on here should be your past, but you can't let it go. And so therefore, you're not moving forward. You're stuck. And you're not dealing with this well, because it's almost as if you are compounding the situation.
These are paired very well, because clearly the way you're dealing with it is just basically creating the same situation.
Boy, these first two readings, let's see what we get here. Why are your feelings justified, fire signs?
And it's a repeat from the first reading, the King of Wands reversed. Your feelings may be justified because you lack the confidence and bravery and some chutzpah, or whatever you want to call it, to really put yourself there, to really do what you need to do.
Right now, your feelings are justified because maybe you feel you can't control the situation as well as you thought, that you can't turn this around, that you are struggling in this manner. It's making you feel very non-productive and non-motivated. The courage that you usually have in the face of adversity seems to have left you.
It's almost as if you don't recognize yourself in the mirror anymore on some sort of, more metaphysical or abstract level.
Remember, this may not be in every area of your life, but there's something gone amok here.
Or at least this next month.
Right. So how can we turn that frown upside down, fire signs?
Ooh. The reverse Ten of Wands.
Wow.
There are things you need to release.
Well, when you think about it, it's weird, because look we have all of this stagnation here, and then we have, we want to stagnate more. We want to do even less.
Release.
Well, let's think about that, though. How do you turn this around? I think you need to look at what has become so burdensome here that it's got you stuck. There must be things that you can eliminate, from the scenario, the situation that you're in, and release, as Mr. O just said, so that you can move forward now.
It is a sense of past baggage that maybe goes on with other relationships, not just necessarily emotional or intrapersonal, but maybe relationships you had with your education process, or with some other particular situation where maybe you're no longer in that situation, but there's baggage there for some reason. It might just be mental or emotional baggage. It could still be other links.
It seems to me that it could be business, career, or projects, creative pursuits, because of course with the Empress too, where you seem to be stuck. Oh, I love the thing about baggage, though, from the past. That could be it, that as well. Let's recap it, shall we? It all seems, again, these two readings are really tight readings. So I don't know if you can relate to it, fire signs. Some of you, I'm sure, may know exactly what these cards are talking about. All right. Stuck, stagnant, non-productive, unable to move forward, unable to, let's just say, get what you want going to grow. It's just like you feel like you've hit a block that you can't seem to overcome.
Fire signs, you feel like your muse has totally deserted you, and you have no practical way of bringing it back. You feel like you need to be in charge of that, but you're just kind of listless here.
And the way you're dealing with it is you're making yourself a little bit more listless, or at least non-productive, by trying to, move back to these conditions that don't seem to be working for you. It's time for you to think, about, as long as you do that, let me put it that way, as long as you do that, there's no hope of moving forward.
this is a sort of reflexive move that is maybe self-distracting, and maybe, it's sort of self-sabotaging because maybe you're afraid to face what is really going on.
And that's where the King of Wands comes in. Are your feelings justified? It seems as though, yes, in a way, because you're either lacking the courage, the motivation, your usual bravado, and enthusiasm
Confidence.
to move things forward. It's all like this is just a feedback loop.
Very nice. So then finally, where does that leave us?
Well, to turn that frown upside down, you have to lighten that load of burdens that you are carrying from this past. In other words, if something is not working for you, it's time to either change it up big time. Let's say you're a writer and you're in the middle of a novel and you've hit a total quagmire. Obviously, you've got to go backtrack a little bit and straighten things out. I agree, but this is showing you can't, stay there. You have to maybe come up with some new innovative way to make it all fit together. That's just an example. So I mean here, don't find things that you need to let go of and, make things flow the way they should.
I'm going to think, too, that maybe there's a possibility for some of us here that this is about something we feel ownership over, but maybe is denied to us for some reason. Maybe a company that is trying to claim your work as part of their thing, or something like that, and that you may just have to come to terms and realize it is a loss for you. It could be some other similar situation where the ownership or the role you play in being creator is challenged or is wobbly.
All right, that's what we have for the fire signs.
Wow.
Did I shuffle last time?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
First. Because you did first on
Yes.
the air signs.
You're right. And that must mean we're on
The water signs.
Where does it hurt, water signs?
Probably everywhere with your fluid nature.
Hey, Scorpio, it's your birthday month.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't you forget it. But this is for the water signs in general, the Cancers, Scorpios, or Pisces amongst us. What is ticking your talk?
Oh,
What's
my
making you
gosh.
sad and miserable?
Bly is here. Forget our emotional support. Squishmallow. And she does say the future looks bright. All right, water signs. What is or will be making you unhappy this month? Wow, it's another wand. It's the Knight of Wands reversed.
So what could be making you unhappy is that you just don't feel the energy you feel you need to move towards your goals, that something feels like either your energy's off or that you are challenged in a way you're not as confident or feeling like you really have the ability to challenge a situation you need to. And it's making you sad because you need to have success in this area.
It's clear you're struggling moving something forward, I think. There's setbacks or delays that are proving frustrating to you. And, like, for example, if you're waiting for somebody to call you back for a job interview or to let you know you've gotten the job, it's delayed, and it's frustrating. You need answers or you need, things to come to fruition now. So, how are you or will you be dealing with this unhappiness? And you know what? It's the Hanged Man reversed. Well, it's clear, he's reversed. Okay, so how are you dealing with it? Well, I wonder about this. I think you might still be trying to, hold back instead of doing what you need to do to come down and get back, get back to work on figuring out what is wrong here. It's almost as if maybe, sometimes the Hanged Man reversed can be about getting off the tree and getting back into action. And maybe that's, in a sense, what you really would like to do. But other times the Hanged Man reverse can mean, you don't want to come down. You're kind of stuck there.
You're in denial that there is actually a problem, and you're kind of floating yourself a little bit so that you can kind of, maybe go towards one part of the idea about why you're sad or feel justified or whatever. But then the other part of it is, of course, is that it negates maybe your need to necessarily do very forward thinking on it, because you sort of are not wanting to believe that there's actually a problem.
Wow, I like that. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I might do something else in the recap. All right, so why are the water signs' feelings justified? And it's judgment reversed. Wow.
Judgment reversed.
Wow, isn't this interesting? It's almost as if you don't want to have to recreate Rome, That's why your feelings are justified. You're really hoping here that things could just move along as they were, rather than you having to regenerate, restart, refresh, do something different with this project.
It's kind of funny, because I thought with the first card that maybe this was more trivial than what it looks like it's moving towards, and that the sense of denial here is really because there's something deep you are avoiding learning or understanding or integrating into yourself or accepting. I almost get the feeling like it's not about yourself personally so much as what you might have to come to accept about something else that you need to accept. A very close relationship with somebody that has changed dramatically, or your relationship with something maybe external that is going to change dramatically. And that's where the sense of denial, not wanting to accept that this is happening, and the profound nature. So in terms of the question, how will you justify this?
No, it's why are our feelings justified?
Why are your feelings justified? Because you really don't want to grow this way.
Wow, how do we turn that frown, in this case, upside down? Wow, oh my goodness, it's the Seven of Pentacles. This is really wild. These cards are very interesting today.
It's almost like ultimately you will have to embrace change or growth or reaction or something.
Well, it is reversed. Yeah, it's like saying you really do have to get back to work. No more hanging on this tree here. No more thinking, I'm not ready to change things up or, revise, revision things. It's time to move. It's time to move if you want this project or situation to grow. I can almost see that it could be business or interpersonal related, like a relationship.
I mean, the preponderance of wands makes it seem one way, but yeah, you're right.
I mean, there's one wand and one pentacle.
Oh, you're right.
And then two major arcana. But I mean, the wand could be romance or, career. The pentacle clearly makes it look like career, but that's the kind of pentacle card that's about growth, growing something. And will it pay off? And that could be a relationship too. We invest a lot of our time, our energy, and things in a relationship. So, that's why I could go either way here.
All right.
So let's recap this for you guys. This is an interesting read, and I think it does kind of flow as well, have its own sort of flow here, water signs. It looks as though you're trying to get something off the ground or get things moving, or you've been working on something, and it seems like now, there's delays, there's setbacks. It's like things are not working out, and it's unhappy. It's frustrating you.
Well, the delays may involve you reaching more into yourself and revealing more of yourself or parts of yourself that maybe you were hoping to keep under taps in some way. There's something you're not as confident or brave about, or that you're willing to share there. And that's more evidenced by what goes on.
I know, I just had an epiphany. You saw me. Well, the other thing about the Knight of Wands is sometimes when they're reversed, they act a little bit carelessly. They can act a
That's
little
true.
recklessly. And so maybe you realize too that you might have been part of the reason for these setbacks, some acts that you had maneuvers you had taken before you should have. And there's the hangman reversed.
Uh-huh.
And the hangman reversed is saying, maybe you should have given this a little bit more thought. How are you dealing with this? Well, I guess maybe you feel like you have to step back now and think about it more, rather than act. But is it the right thing to do? Have you not been thinking this to death already? Maybe it's time to get off of that tree.
The sense of possible self-denial here also says, too, that maybe a question for yourself is, were you derelict in your duty to some degree in respect to the first one or ongoing?
Something needs to be changed or revised. It's like, if you realize this deep down, I think, your feelings are justified because you really don't want to do it,
Yeah.
You really were happy with the way things were going, but either if this is involving a relationship, somebody else is not happy, and you realize now you're going to have to make some changes or modifications, or maybe totally rebirth something.
The best way to move forward is really to throw yourself into it. Take what has been sitting there, almost withering on the vine, so to speak, and really plow it forward. It was ready, so you need to move forward.
Wow, 100%. That's what we have for you, Ursula. Water signs. My God. See, I don't have my cup of water. So.
Okay, but we are, in fact, on the earth signs.
We are. That's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
It's my turn.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd rather shuffle for the world reading first.
I'd rather you shuffle for that one, too. And this is a long reading for us because, of course, we spend pretty good time on each of the signs, and then we throw in the world to boot, too. So we
will have it time-stamped. So, of course, you can just go to the areas that you are most interested in. Correct?
Mm-hmm. All right. Earth signs.
And we do hope everybody checks
Virgo and Capricorn.
And we do. Did I shuffle?
I don't know.
I thought I was supposed to shuffle last.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And then I cut them, right?
Whatever you want, dear.
Yeah. I don't know anymore. I just don't think I shuffled.
You didn't.
So, as I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say now.
Something about a show.
No.
Something about watching one of our shows. Yes, it was, because you were starting to say it.
The brain is shut down.
This can all be cut out.
It can, and it probably will.
Oy. So, where are those earth signs again?
Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
All right. Card 1. What is or will be making the earth signs unhappy right now? It's Temperance reversed.
Wow, feeling like life has gotten out of balance, feeling like maybe the work-life thing isn't working for you, or there are different stressors in your life right now that are causing you to feel out of sorts and unhappy. You feel ungrounded, and, you need to, maybe change that.
Right. There's something serious going on. You just feel that there's a lot of things that feel out of balance. Maybe it's, the physical things. It could be you feel like your diet sucks right now, or your sense of exercise is not working. Things that you feel normally give you balance, you feel they're not there. And it could be something that you yourself can do. But either way, that profound sense of not being in control makes you unhappy.
And maybe you just feel out of the flow, that something is taking you out of your normal flow and routine, and that's kind of upsetting to you as well.
Right. I mean, there's so many other aspects you can spin off to. The founding of temperance means that, you're intuitive and empathic and you can relate to others appropriately. So everything is just thrown off when this card is reversed.
So how will earth signs be dealing with or are dealing with this unhappiness right now?
And it's the Two of Wands reversed.
Ooh, it's hard to kind of find your way forward, It's as if you feel a lot of your plans now are kind of upset over the disruptions, to your flow and routine, right?
You once again don't feel, this is more like a physical reminder of what the first card made you feel in an overall sense. This one sort of feels like more specific about things that you were planning on or things that you thought you had gotten through, but you just didn't really realize the impact that you wanted to from completing a project or finishing a job or something like that. It could be a number of things.
So how you are dealing with this unhappiness is that you're probably, trying to think of a way to get things back in order. And, in some sense, that's positive, even though this isn't, it's reversed. It's a positive. You're really trying to find your way there. It's just a rough go trying to find your way there.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, so card 3, are your feelings justified?
Yes, feelings.
And it's the Six of Wands reversed. They are justified because maybe you are used to feeling more appreciated and now you feel you are not so appreciated.
You feel like maybe people aren't appreciating what you're going through right now either. So they may be magnifying, your feeling, your sense of things out of balance. They may be putting demands on you, wanting your attention, wanting your time, and wanting your energy at a time where you really need to draw it back in.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Thank you.
So then finally, how do you turn that frown upside down? How do you bring a little happiness into the situation? And it's the reversed Seven of Swords.
Ooh, you know what? I think how you do it is you speak truth. You just let people, sometimes it's hard to say no to others, to say you've had enough, to even approach, say, a workplace or someplace that may be piling the work onto you and saying, I need a little help. But maybe, by either speaking truth or uncovering the truths as to why all of this is happening to you right now is the way that you can turn your frown upside down.
I'm often used to the idea that many of the earth signs characteristics are strong and sturdy and that they don't talk about their problems. And you can kind of see that through all this too, that they don't want people to know that they're struggling, that they have balance issues, they have issues, moving forward, issues feeling appreciated for that. And then you get this card at the end there, and I think it does sort of pull it together. It says, don't deceive yourself as well, that you too do need some kind of validation from others, that, we're no person is an island. And of course, an island is once again the material, rocky essence of pentacles and earth signs.
This was very interesting. Let's recap it. And I have to say, for all of the elemental signs so far, these have been some very interesting readings. So let's take a look at, and I hope it helps you. Let's take a look at the earth signs. Right now, it's hard to regain balance and flow in your life. You feel like you're ungrounded and that, you can't seem to, walk on solid ground. It's struggling and it's making you unhappy. You're very stressed.
It's an energy level, but it's also a spiritual sense or a mental sense about yourself too, that things just are not structuring well.
And, what's making you, how are you dealing with it? Well, I think on one end, you're really trying to figure a way through this, You're trying to look for a plan or a strategy, But let's not try to make a plan or a strategy that's just going to keep things the way they are. Something needs to change up a little bit here. And you need to think about ways to revise, what you're doing to yourself. You are putting yourself, I feel, in this position.
You may be dealing with your unhappiness by looking at the past plans and thinking that maybe you can rethink them and come out on top, but that's probably not the best way to go.
And then with your feelings, are they justified? I liked what Mr. O said, but I'll just add my thing and let him say it again, is basically, you feel as though people don't realize what you're going through, and you wish they would, but you're afraid to tell them or approach them on this. You're silently carrying like a load. You're caving into their demands for attention or your time or your energy when you have little to spare.
Well, I don't know. You said probably pretty much what I wanted to say there, but it really is about the sense of appreciation, how you felt appreciated or not in the situation. And so that's how it justifies to you, is that you feel you should have been more appreciated in all of this.
And ultimately, Mr. O?
Ultimately, it is maybe perhaps the idea that you were deceiving yourself a little bit here, and that maybe, you need to come to the truths that you need to say, but also to understand those other truths that are out there, that, everybody is pretty busy. And sometimes, you just have to be able to remind people that you are looking for that little bit of validation, self-validation, that, sometimes people forget, it's not because they're mean to you necessarily, but it made you unhappy, didn't it?
You need to, come clean with yourself, obviously, and accept the truth that you can't do it all, and that, the more you do for others without setting boundaries, the more they're going to impinge on your time when you can least afford it for yourself. And so truths need to be told to others as well as to yourself. That's what we have for you. Good luck with that, Earth signs.
So now,
some deep readings here.
Very deep readings. I wonder if we can do the same for our final client here.
Ooh, and it's the world.
It's a big client, The world.
Let's see what's going on out there and see if you can relate it, to what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Right. No one reading that's so global in perspective can really give us a gist or an epitome of everything going on in the world and saying it all revolves around us. There's just too many different things going on in parts of the world that can't necessarily be corralled into one, thought here. But we're going to give it a shot just to see what those major points may be. Certainly there may be some things that make us more unhappy than others, or make more people unhappy.
Oh boy, let's see. And again, I should have said this at the beginning of the show. These readings are good for up till the next fourth quarter moon starts. So about a month, a little over, right? A little under.
Mm-hmm.
So, it'll be till the next fourth quarter moon.
We are creatures of the moon and its tides, and so the idea here is that these tides that affect us have emotional qualities that, will wax and wane as well. All right, so where does it hurt, world? What is or will be making the world hurt, unhappy?
Well, it's the Seven of Wands reversed.
Seven of Wands.
Seems like somebody in the world or someplace in the world, or we all feel disadvantaged right now, like we're struggling against impossible odds. We could take that a lot in our country here so far as the political divide goes, and maybe even some of the class struggles that have been going on. Sometimes we feel we face impossible odds. Certainly Gaza and the Palestinians are feeling that now. Maybe Israel is feeling it too, that they have to react the way they are to protect themselves. We could look at a lot of the world conflict and see that often people are trying to protect what's theirs and their turf.
Well, maybe what hurts the world is the fact is that everything is framed in very binary ways. Winner, loser, terrorist, hero, good, bad, left, right, Republican, Democrat, whatever it is. Ukraine,
and then we always
Russia,
got to bring the other side down.
The other side is always the enemy, and that goes on eternal. And so there's nothing really that brings more people together. There's nothing that tries to find a common ground for people, even though there are governments, groups, agencies, the UN, whoever it is, maybe that wants to try to do that, but they don't seem to have the tools that people can embrace for that.
How are we dealing with or will be dealing with this unhappiness? Oh boy, it's a repeat card. It's a 10 of Wands. It's reversed. Well, the way I almost want to think it's a positive in that we're trying to find our way through our struggles, through this adversity, the things that are weighing us down, the things that are trying to pull us down.
This is Mr. O here, and I don't have any gloves to pull off, but I'm about to pull them off.
Whoa.
How are we dealing with this? Well, you know what? I just read an article about people who complain about the amount of federal tax money that goes to federal aid to foreign countries and saying like, oh, it's so horrible. And yet the amount of money that people spend on beer or popcorn at movies or things like that totally dwarfs this kind of aid we give to other countries. And so my thought is we're just unburdening ourselves by spending money on beer and food and movies and theaters rather than dealing with what these situations are and how we as the nations, the country, the world's leading countries should be able to try to do more to bring peace to the world.
Okay, I guess I was going a little bit more global with that, but I can see what you're saying.
Well, it's a global issue that we can't do more about, things with our money rather than belly.
Well, some people think the U.S. gives more aid than any other country.
It's probably true.
It is probably true, but we are one of the richest countries in the world. I'm not arguing with Mr. O here. I'm just looking at it, trying to look at it from a broader perspective. But I see, that, but I really feel it has to do with whatever here is trying to bring us down. And you would say it's that.
Well, I say we're dealing with our problems by just avoiding them and doing excessive things.
Well, since it's reversed, it's letting go of something.
Well, yeah, it could be letting go of rationality about these processes and just saying, let's drink beer instead.
Okay, so you're taking a negative approach. So how are we dealing with or will be dealing with this unhappiness? I just want to add for this position. Could be positive, could be negative, depending on the cards we draw here. And in this case, I kind of took a more positive approach, but, I can see why you did what you did.
Yeah, I'm taking a more negative approach.
Yeah, so we are at odds on that one.
All right.
So why are our feelings justified? Well, it's the Fool reversed. Oh boy, I wonder if in this period... Well, we can already say, like, for example, in the Israeli-Gaza conflict, that Israel's really taken some risky maneuvers here by just totally decimating Gaza the way they are. There is so much turning against them in the world, They can claim that they are, following human rights standards, but we have eyes. There are cameras there. We see what's going on, and it is not following international standards. I'm just going to say that. We can argue about whether Israel was justified in attacking back. I believe, yes, they did have a cause, but they may have overstepped themselves. They may have taken a risk that's coming back to haunt them. So let's think about this in a more general sense. I'm sorry I'm going on.
Well, that's what I wanted to do.
I will too.
Is have that idea of a general sense there. And what I feel justifies our feelings is that we don't feel there's anything we can certainly expect realistically. We have a sense of unexpected things happening.
And that's another thing.
Things that we can't necessarily control or predict. And that really justifies this unhappiness because we just don't know what's going to happen next and how bad it's going to be.
We're fearing the uncertainty. And nobody wants to take a risk or to make things right necessarily because they're afraid whatever they do might even make it worse. Nobody knows exactly what they need to do, right? So I like that though, because I was also thinking if this was in a different position, I might have thought that, oh, maybe something unexpected is going to happen that's just going to throw everything off. But it's why our feelings are justified. And I do think it's the uncertainty surrounding us in almost everything.
So
okay, so how do we turn that frown upside down? Who knows?
Well, this plays up to my scorpionic nature. The moon reverse says we have to find out what it is that's really going on, what maybe controls the binary nature that I was talking about here, the idea that there has to be winners and losers rather than finding more creative ways to bring everybody together. We have to find out something that is challenging, is secretive, and maybe is perhaps scary, destructive.
I think what will turn that frown upside down is maybe we are going to find out something. I think that's possible that there may be some big revelation in some worldwide issue that is going on that could rock the world here, shake up our world a little bit here, and actually maybe point to some solutions or some ways forward. Let's hope so.
I love it.
So, yeah, because I can almost see that with the Israeli thing. I mean, whenever anything comes up in the world with Ukraine, Russia, with China and their goals, with the U.S. and what's going on here, with the elections and everybody not getting along, you really have to dig deep to see what's going on. Because there could be a lot of people trying to manipulate things for their own reasons. Like, for example, with Israel and Gaza, there could be other countries that are trying to manipulate both sides for their own reasons. Russia, Ukraine, we could say this for almost anything. So I'm just saying, don't take everything at face value, and that's where the moon comes in. There could be some interesting revelations afoot somewhere.
Right.
So let's take a look at this again. We do feel like we're at a disadvantage. We do feel as though, somebody's always trying to bring us down, or bring some situation down rather than, be constructive. It's making us feel very unhappy. We have to always be on the defensive in a way.
We may feel we can't really overcome this situation. We may feel that we have to give up or that we're just not going to win.
And, we're unhappy because we have to always keep our guard up. And that leads to how we are dealing with it. We're trying to find ways to move forward, to get rid of whatever it is that is blocking progress, that is weighing us down. When you're feeling the sense of always being on the defensive too, maybe that's it. We're trying to get rid of that monkey off our backs because you can't operate well that way. You're always looking out more for yourself than for the greater good, when you're operating that way.
Well, besides being a sense of burdens, the Ten of Wands could also be a sense of structure. And so if it's turned upside down, maybe the idea that we are dealing with this by getting rid of structures, the things that keep us from reasonable behaviors. We're just saying, oh, I'm going to drink more. This is kind of another way of talking about what I did earlier.
No longer serving us, structures that no longer serve us.
Yeah, we're just sort of feeling like nothing really matters, so we don't care if we're breaking these things down. We're releasing these things.
Our feelings are justified because, we feel there is some careless, reckless behavior going on here, some careless, reckless acts that could cost, us even more. And, we're also worried about the uncertainty factor here. Everything right now feels so uncertain, from climate change to all the wars going on to political infighting within countries and societies, not just in the U.S.
Right. unexpected consequences is basically what we feel justify all of this.
Ultimately, there may be the only way to turn this frown upside down is to get to the bottom of the problem. Get some truths out there. Truths that people can actually believe as truths, because these days, good grief, there's so much misinformation out there. But we need facts. We need truths. We need to operate on what's hidden from our view right now and may be revealed in this month ahead.
And it's kind of funny because, of course, they're wearing masks in a sense, these beings here. And so it's like pulling off the masks, revealing the truth that's really there.
Wow, Mr. O, some tight readings today.
That was an awesome reading overall.
Ooh, all of them. So I hope everybody appreciated it, and feel free to comment and let us know how we're doing. Until we see you again and make you unhappy next month. And to tell you where it hurts at another unhappy hour.
Right. The pain will be back again.
Bly will be here. Don't worry. Bly is our support in times of stress. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.